So, of course, today we're talking all about life insurance and wills and trust and, how to prepare for the inevitable. Of course, as we said in the beginning of the episode, we don't want to speak death, but we do know that everybody has a time to die and a time to be born and live in between, right? So we got to be prepared. So going back to life insurance, I guess one of the first things we need to talk about is age. Obviously, I've seen so many different rates, and they are all contingent on age.
Yes.
Some policies you have to have a physical for, some you don't.
Correct.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, so basically that's just criteria. I'm going to go over basics. So insurance companies are looking at risk factors, right? So they're looking at your age.
Okay.
They're going to review your driving history. They're going to review your criminal history, your health, health background, prescriptions and things like that. And now there's technology, right? So back in the day, people could lie and say whatever.
Right.
So if you're a smoker, please say you're a smoker because they have a 2-year contestability. It's best to just tell the truth.
How do they know that you're a smoker? If you say I'm not, how do they know you are?
And depending on what smoker. Suppose you're not a cigarette smoker.
I'm talking about cigarettes.
Okay, I'm talking about you're not a cigarette smoker.
So you're okay if you got that little THC?
I am not going there.
Or CBD.
But really, when they're thinking about, they are starting. You know what? I have seen those on the applications now.
You have?
I have seen it on the applications. Men also pay more.
Yes,
so
I've noticed
men
that.
and boys.
Why is that?
Risk factor.
Because they get hurt.
They run around. They speed. They do all the things that they do.
Drink and drive.
And not to say that women don't make
men just
risk,
doing the higher numbers,
but they are a little bit riskier.
Yeah.
So they actually have to pay more money. So,
Okay.
there's nothing we can do about that.
So if you get a policy today for let's say $50 a month, does it go up every year when you get older?
Well, if you go buy it off the TV and not me, then there's a possibility.
So your rates never fluctuate?
No, it's called level.
Okay.
It's level premiums.
Okay.
So
that's
that
good to know.
is a terminology that your audience could ask an agent. Is this level? Okay. Level means that the payment will never change.
Okay,
that's really good information.
Yeah. So being prepared. Let's talk about, of course, the policies, but also wills.
Okay.
I know. Personal story. My husband's mother passed. It's been several years now. At least 17, 18 years. But one of the things that made that transition so easy and so seamless was her will and her life insurance.
So she was prepared.
She was prepared down to the color she wanted to wear, who she wanted to speak at her funeral, the plot was paid for, where it was, everything, whatever was supposed to be coming from the Eastern Stars, because she was an Eastern Star. She had to lay down on who you supposed to get this money from.
That's amazing though, because we don't hear that often.
We don't. We don't. So speak about the importance of that and those, going working inside, coinciding with one another.
Absolutely. And what I want to say is that because I'm not a licensed attorney, I'm going to give you the very minimum basics of what the listeners should think about. Right. So when you talk about a living will, you also want to make sure that you have a healthcare power of attorney, which covers the body.
Yes.
Right? What you want. Do you want to be resuscitated? Things of that nature.
These things are important.
Exactly.
Trust me, you do not want to make those decisions when you're emotional about this person being in that state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your healthcare power of attorney, you also want to have a durable power of attorney. A durable power of attorney is going to take care of the assets, right? Some of the assets, like where does this go? Where does that go? Right? So it's the living will, the healthcare power of attorney, durable power of attorney.
Okay.
Now, also, you want to put your assets, if possible, because this is expensive, this part, in a trust if you can. Okay. And I don't want to go too deep into that because I'm not a licensed attorney, but go to your licensed attorney and say, hey, I need a living will, I need a healthcare power of attorney, durable power of attorney, and I want to put my assets in a trust. And that's been really popular with the millennials. I have to give them credit.
Okay, they are on it.
They are on it. They are on it. They are on it.
And it doesn't just benefit you in death. It benefits you, say for instance, like my property is in a trust, and if somebody wanted to come and sue me because they fell at my Airbnb and now they want $1 million.
Correct.
They can't come after my property because it's in a trust.
Correct.
But they can come after my personal.
Exactly.
And I keep that limited, obviously.
Right. Exactly.
And so a trust, you can get it through an attorney, like you said.
Correct.
You can also go through third parties like LegalZoom.
That's
if you don't
correct.
have the funds,
If you don't have the funds,
I mean,
correct.
and they're very affordable. Everything is online,
Right.
but it's still legit.
Right.
So,
but have it reviewed by someone, even if it's
exactly.
a paralegal.
Yeah.
Because we have to make sure
Right.
that our ducks in a row. Anything
Exactly.
that serious,
That's
that's why
legal
I
and
can
binding.
touch on it with my clients because I do.
yeah.
I actually have a service for my clients that I would recommend to them if the insurance company does not have that available.
Right.
Some policies, the insurance company will provide that for them.
Right,
One of the things I also want to touch on when we talk about the trust situation, I have a client, basically, unfortunately, his mother went to have surgery and she, came out of the hospital a different person with all these assets. Nothing was in a trust, right? So, long story short, he's now paying over $8,000 a month for her care.
Oh, wow.
He did spend down. There's a term called spending down.
Yes, with Medicare and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's battling to try to get her, with Medicare. Yeah, Medicare. I'm not on the health side of things,
Right.
but because of the industry, I kind
Right.
of keep
You
up
kinda
with
know.
some of
Yeah.
it. Unfortunately, if you do have family that have assets as your parents' age,
Yeah.
you really want to make sure that they have this together.
Yes.
Because you're going to be the one left holding the bag.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they want their money.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They do. And they will go back 3, 4, 5 years ago when you sold the house for your parent,
5 years.
to give them their, I guess you could say money so they can be cared for. And they want to
Absolutely.
know, well, what happened to that money? What'd you
Absolutely.
do with it? What bank account did it go into? Do you have receipts to show that
Right.
you've spent, X amount of dollars?
Absolutely.
So, and I only know this because I've been through it. You
Right,
know,
and the only
it's
reason
not
I
fun.
know, yeah, and the only reason I know is because I have friends that have gone through it,
Right.
Yeah.
clients that have gone through
Right.
it, and it's just terrible.
It
so
is.
you
It
just
is.
have to be prepared.
Yeah.
And what you have to understand is that life insurance is for the living.
Yes. Yes.
It's for the living.
And not for the dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so speaking on that, I know we've talked when we spoke
Yes.
briefly about selling your policies,
Yes,
and speak about that.
about selling the insurance
Yes.
policies. You like and what?
So I know you were telling me about an example that, or you were working with someone and they were looking to sell their policy, or maybe that was something else. That
It
we
might
talked-
have been something else.
You
that we
can,
talked
like maybe
about.
borrowing against your policy.
You can do
maybe
that.
that.
Okay.
You
Yes,
can
yes,
definitely
yes,
do
yes, 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 yes. So with cash value policies, that could be a whole life or an IUL. Sorry. 50-50 and what God is
Look,
So with a whole life or cash value policies, whether it's whole life or IUL, you can take money from those policies. And I kind of touched on it earlier. You can take money from those policies and do various things,
Okay.
right? But here's what I really want the listeners to focus on. Make sure you have the basics. Okay, make sure you have the basics. If I'm speaking to a couple and they don't have enough term life insurance, I'm not going to lead with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to lead with making sure it's a building block.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's get the
So
basics
what's the
covered.
basic? The basic is
It
to make sure that
depends.
you can bury this person
No,
and
not
the
necessarily.
family doesn't take the hardship.
It depends. So
Okay.
I don't put people. It depends.
Everybody's situation and
Everyone is
circumstance is
situational.
different.
It's if you're a good agent, it's situational. It's not a one size
A
fit.
cookie cutter.
It's not.
Okay,
You know.
okay.
It's not.
So there is no basic starting point when it comes to life insurance.
You want to make sure that you have enough to make sure no one is going to suffer when you die. You want to make sure that the debt is going to be taken care of if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Because over 60% of this country, well, really, I think it's 66% or 67% of this country is underinsured.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yes.
So there's
And that
that.
speaks volumes that obviously they can't afford it.
Exactly. And so, we do get paid as an agent a little bit more when we sell a whole life, right? Or a cash value. Let's not just say whole life. When we sell cash value, we actually do get paid a little bit more. We have that lifetime residual.
Yeah.
So sometimes people can be a little disingenuous and not necessarily give people the right product and just kind of put everybody in a bucket. And I just don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I'm not team whole life. I'm not team IUL. I'm not team term. I'm team whatever
That
my
individual,
client needs.
exactly.
That's what I
I
am.
love that. I
Okay.
love that. And so, not switching gears a little bit, but switching gears a little
Okay.
bit, because I know there's so many different facets to you, and so many different things that you have going on.
Yes.
also speaking from, we had our client that was on last week was dealing with some ailments and things of that sort, and he was dealing with ALS actually, and living with it, I like to say. And one of the things we talked about was the mindset and him being able to keep his mindset, you know, in the right space. I know with you, we didn't have history from the 90s.
From the 90s.
Since the 1990s.
The 1900s.
Yes, 1900s. So speak a little bit about that, just a little bit of that journey, what has led you into this. And I also know that alongside with the insurance, there's other opportunities that you offer people if they want to come in and be able to build some wealth, or have an opportunity for themselves.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna touch on the fun stuff first, and then I'll go into that area. But so I've been with a company called Planet Marketing for the past year. So essentially, we help people save money and earn money on the travel entertainment. So there's like 3 buckets of people that join our family. So you have some people, they just want to save money on their travel and entertainment and be able to write it off.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Then we have people, I call them the bookers. They are booking luxury travel. And people don't talk about going to school for travel, but guess what? Our top travel agents are making over $400,000 a year.
Oh, I need to switch careers.
Right.
We'll talk, girl.
Right.
We'll talk
to that.
But we also have our leaders in the company, and that's like 1% of the company. And those are the individuals like myself. And we actually are building a lifetime residual income by actually selling the agency to people that want to save and earn on their personal travel.
Excellent.
So when you talked about what has led me here, one of the reasons I got into life insurance, well, first of all, I've always loved people and I've always been a servant leader. Okay. And I'm known for that, you know, to serve.
Yeah.
I've been serving literally since the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just who I am. But what got me into life insurance, I wanted to actually stay home and be with my son.
Okay.
Because I had my first child when I was 16. I had my second child when I was 38.
Okay.
And I mean, I have been through some
gap.
things. It's a
I bet
big
you
gap.
have.
It's a big gap. But I wanted to be able to be home, but I didn't want to have to put all the financial responsibility on my husband, although he's a high income earner and he's doing, I mean, I'm good. We're good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go to you and say, hey, I need my hair done. My nails done.
Yes, I know the feeling, honey.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
Like, that's not what my mom.
understand.
That's not what my mom. You know, my mom didn't raise me to be that way.
Right.
My mom said, "Hey, you should be able to feed yourself. You know, be independent and fiscally responsible."
Yeah.
Right. So that's what led me to looking at life insurance, and I've been doing it for 12 years. And my demographic is parents and seniors because those are my hearts.
Excellent.
So what about the education? Like if anybody's aspiring to be an agent?
So with the travel business, you don't need education. You just need to have self-motivation.
Okay.
With the life insurance business, you could just take a class online and basically that's it. Take a state test. You do have to have good credit or fairly decent credit. And you have to have a clean criminal record.
Oh, that's good information to know.
Good information.
Okay.
Well,
Awesome.
this has been another exciting episode of Unfiltered Conversations with Tina Knox. Be sure, she gave her number out, but we're going to make sure that information is listed below in the description. So that way if anyone wants to come and connect with this field agent,
Right, field agent. That's right. I'm a field
they
agent
can do that in the field, baby.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
I really
no problem.
appreciate you ladies. I really do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.